Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. I'm going to look at some mobile armors, some ace boss battles, and even talk about some of the graphical settings. And yeah, let's start with showing where to go to get a whole bunch of capital just so you can level up your character quite a bit. I don't need to show the level because really you just jump in, you do a sweep around it, but I'll show you what level it is and a skill to use. And so you've probably heard some of the skills to use that can help. For instance, Lucky, which is right here, temporarily boost enemy capital object drops by 1. And this is when you use your roll action. So that means that when the enemy is dropping capital, it's a lot more. This is what you want to use along with your super, which increases the capital gain. You want to do this on 7B on the true mission. You can see I already have it completed on hard here because when you play through this, just start, go to the right, do a circle around the map, and then just follow the objectives. Really, you're just destroying mobs of grunt units. You can actually do that pretty early on as soon as you unlock hard. So I can go in there, just wipe them out, get a bunch of capital, level up my mobile suits quite a bit. All right, and here's where I'm going to face an ace. This isn't a break mission. This is Char's Zagok. So, yeah, I positioned myself behind to get that maximum attack. That's the first thing I did. I countered right there. So I did a guard right at the right time, and that is hard to do. You got to just kind of memorize moves, see the moves easily. And then if you do the counter correctly, it does break them. So they're in that red. You can do more damage there. So let's see. Yeah, that time he got me. Going to use my special here real quick, and yeah, luckily I was able to land it. Sometimes you can't land it, and it looks bad. Yeah, another thing about this level is how it has these walls around it, so the camera is not that good for this ace fight. Okay, I was able to guard. It wasn't a counter, but it was a guard there. I got some more back action, but Char seemed to turn around there. Yeah, and if I guard... oh, there's a reversal. So I did the A and X at the same time, right at the right time, to do a reversal as he was doing combos. It put him in that break state. I was able to attack him. But yeah, he's got me now. Let's see. Yeah, your ally specials seem to block the screen, and it will freeze the ace, so I'll try to get behind the ace to do some attacks. Yeah, I tend to try to play where I'm separated from my team in a way where we're getting at the ace from all sides. Alright, system down, but I'll just repair myself since the rest of the level is pretty easy. And then, okay, so I used my meter, I guess at the right time, even though it looked like when he landed the attack, I still had like a window there where it counted as a reversal. I was able to get him into a state where I can get him up in the air and actually do all those air attacks. So that really kind of maximized. Right, and here's where I'm able to end the battle with a special. Ace killed. Yeah, so that's yeah, a lot of fun doing these ace matches. They get harder when there's multiple aces. All right, now here's an example of how to like maximize using your special. I just baited a bunch of enemies to a certain part of the room. And as I'm doing the special, I'm using the thumbstick to target different enemies. So then I can turn around and just see a whole bunch of red capital. All right, so when fighting against like an ace, for instance, I've noticed it was kind of tough for me to really understand what I was doing in terms of blocking, when to guard, when to counter. I found a way to make it actually easier to figure this out because when I am fighting against an ace, I am watching for their attack animation so I know when to block, just so I can make every hit they attempt into a counter. But I missed it a lot. And so here's what's going on in PC settings. There's some things here I changed that help me out. So the first thing is this ambient occlusion or occlusion. That's not a word I say too often, but I turn that off and you can definitely see the details in terms of it seems to be this extra grit, this darkness that seems to go away, and then it's easier to see what's going on. That alone was able to allow me to see through the particle effects and see when the enemy is doing an attack animation. I can start countering a lot more. But then there were other effects I noticed that even improved it more. Bloom, lens flare, depth of field, motion blur. These are effects I usually like to have on, and in fact, it makes this game look very good. It's kind of a weird contrast with the SD look of the Gundams, but the graphics are good. You turn that off, things seem to be a little bit smoother, but in general, you can just see much more clearer. All right, and then just looking through the graphic settings, you can turn some effect off and actually get a better, clearer look of the background. I mean, motion blur and even the bloom almost give it a smeared look, and now it's a lot more sharp, and I can see through the particle effects and be able to see enemy attacks. Now, the mobile armors can be pretty tough, especially when you're playing solo, but as you can see, if you memorize their attack patterns, you can get perfect guards. Alright, and yeah, with the enemies down, I have to be able to rely on that perfect guard. And also the ability that stops you from being staggered when healing. That helped out there. And as you're facing aces, you just have to be able to counter. It really helps. It helps more if you can actually land the follow-up combos, but this is what you gotta rely on, especially if you're facing multiple, like I am in this Chaos mission. And once you see yourself in a combo, use your chain breaker. You know, I'm still working on, my tactics, but, as the infighter, especially when you're up against these type of enemies, you have to be able to go in there and constantly tank, keep the enemy aggroed on you, keep attacking them. So I have to be able to reset my combo meter and stay alive while drawing the attention. Alright, so there you have it. Just wanted to kind of show off the gameplay now that I've kind of made the first pass through the game. And just having to rely on the advanced techniques against things like bosses and mobile armors. But again, if you have any tips you want to share, please just leave them in the comments. They've been helpful to see before. Really appreciate it. Yeah, any other kind of content you want to see about this game, just let me know. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk later.